Today, I'm going to be discussing different ways that we can get our auxiliary in our camps more excited and more involved in the Gideon program. And there's several thoughts that the state cabinet had on Saturday morning. So I'd like to share with you some of the things that we came up with. So first, I went to Google because of course Google is always right, to find out why there can be a lack of enthusiasm in volunteering activities. And so the first item that they said was a lack of time or changing priorities. People have insufficient free time due to work, family commitments, and other obligations. We know this is a problem with everyone everywhere. No longer do people have free time to fill up, but now they have to decide which project is most important to them. Somehow we have to make the idea of volunteering their time and money to the Gideons important enough to make the time. How do we do this? We can't do anything about work or family commitments, but how do we make volunteering for Gideons important enough to take time for? And obviously, since I have an audience who's interested, why do you still volunteer for Gideons? That might also give you a clue of how to bring back the enthusiasm in other ladies. Uh, some things we need to do, and some things that came up at the state cabinet was we need to make the camp time or the prayer time or the get together time more fascinating, more enjoyable. So they'll say, well, yeah, I really want to go there and I want to bring my friends too, type thing. We want that kind of experience so that the ladies feel like they enjoy and getting together with other auxiliary ladies. You can do that by first, the times that you're together, acknowledging how important those people are that are there, making them feel that their being there matters. Second, in your camp experiences, don't let it just be led by the Gideons. Let your leader, president, whatever, whoever's designing the camp experience, to include things for the auxiliary as well, so that they also can see what's going on with the auxiliary. And also have auxiliary events, not so much official auxiliary events, but even just casual ones where you get together for a luncheon or get together for a tea or something unique. Women like to socialize. Give them a time when they can socialize, and they would come back more often. Have a place where they could just go for coffee or for uh, cookies and be able to share experiences. You can include things like um, designing Gideon cards while you're at it, or having other projects like that. But having kind of a fun activity where they feel it's enjoyable to come, they want to come, and that would supersede other things that may be occupying their time to volunteer to. Not everybody, why do you still volunteer for the Gideons? Not everybody has the drive that a lot of us have. But if they still feel wanted and appreciated for who they are and their skills, they may still volunteer for that. So when I wrote this up, these were the ideas that I had. We need to make volunteering for Gideons more rewarding by rewarding their work, whatever it is. Do we acknowledge when the ladies distribute Bibles? Do we, at the camp experience, say, so and so distributed 20 Bibles or these things? We need to acknowledge people for the work that they have done. Do we acknowledge them when they participate as a prayer partner? If they have gone out to do the job as prayer partner, we should acknowledge that and let them be aware that we know that they are doing the work for the Gideons. Do we let them know we are praying for them? Easiest thing to do is to have a situation where you are calling your members and letting them know you're praying for them, or when they're having health issues or medical issues, that the camp sends them a card for that. Do we acknowledge their work on the Heart Fund? during the time that we distribute for Heart Fund, do we even acknowledge the auxiliary? We may not know specific totals, but do we even acknowledge good girls, good going girls? We've collected $100, or ladies, I suppose you want to say, but just acknowledge that their work matters. Do we assist them when they are on the cabinet? When they're have the position of president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, distribution chairman, or any of these, are we helping them out? They can't do all the job alone. And so in short, we need to be in contact with each of our cabinet camp members to let them know that they're not alone. So that's and that not alone, and that we care for them. So that's something we need to do. I know recently we just had a renewal of membership, and we didn't know until one lady didn't renew. We searched it down and found out she had died 2 months before, and nobody noticed. Why? Because we are not effectively using what we call the Sheep 100, calling our members on a monthly basis, weekly basis, whatever works for you, to check in with them and see how they're doing. So that there will make them feel they're appreciated. Another reason that people leave due to the lack of enthusiasm is a loss of interest or motivation. People may lose interest in an activity if they no longer find it engaging, or if they don't feel they're making a difference. Some may have initially joined to fulfill a specific requirement or goal, and once that's met, their motivation wanes. Why did people join in the first place? Did they join because there was a big distribution at the fair or something, and that was all exciting, but now it's winter and we're not having that many distributions, for instance, and so their interest has waned because we're not doing what they joined for? So, you need to have, how do we make the camp experience interesting if it's no longer engaging or interesting? One of the things the Grants Pass camp is doing, and I think some of the other camps are doing as well, it would no longer make the camp experience a revised cabinet meeting type, but more a training type. We've included actually the idea of inviting possible new members to our camp meetings so that our training would also show them what we're doing as well. So make the camp experience interesting, something that they want to see, that they can take home more information. They don't feel they're making a difference. So how do we let them know they're making a difference? Again, by appreciation and encouragement. If they are just praying, I have ladies in my camp that are not able to walk on a distribution, and they're just, struggling. But I can say, well, you can be prayer warriors, and we appreciate your prayers. Let them know that whatever they do for the camp is thankful to the camp. Some may have joined initially to fulfill a goal. And what idea brought them in originally? Was there a Christmas party they're about to join up, or was there a nice, fun camp event? Another way to, by the way, make camp events interesting is put a theme in it if you can. Now, a lot of us eat at a restaurant, but if you had it at different homes or something, you could put on a theme. And you might have ladies who really don't want any of those titles, but are love to decorate. And so that's right up their alley. So now all of a sudden you have given them a chance to have a theme for the each time, so they can be involved in what the camp is doing. So trying to discover what brought them in and how to keep them where they are. Give them something they find interesting. And these were my ideas when I originally wrote this up. Make a camp experience interesting by having videos of the auxiliary shown at camp meetings. It's kind of what I was mentioning before. If the Gideons dominate the meeting and it's only Gideons in the testimonies and the videos, the auxiliary begin to feel like they don't make a difference at all. So you definitely need to have the auxiliary information out there. Have your scripture secretary talk about the various auxiliary funds, donation funds that are in existence, and explain what they are. Have if someone has gone on a national blitz, have them talk about that as a woman, or have women testimonies. We all have testimonies. They don't have to be written down, but you can have women testimonies when they go out on distributions, what happened. And so we need to share those. And that's, and also providing training in the various aspects of the auxiliary work. Usually we have our training from, say, like March to May, somewhere in that neighborhood. And this last year, we didn't do as good of a job as having training specifically to the auxiliary. So we will learn better this next year and have training specifically for the auxiliary, made by the auxiliary, given by the auxiliary. And but during the year, have your president pull some auxiliary videos to show as well. And so those are some of the things that you can try to do to re-encourage the enthusiasm and excitement of being part of a camp. Why is there lack of enthusiasm in the ladies of the camps? Again, another idea was negative experiences. Poor group dynamics, feeling unappreciated, or experience frustration with the processes that lead people to stop participating. Feeling unappreciated. Again, back to the idea of the Barnabas concept. Encourage, encourage, encourage. You have ladies that come, encourage them. Let them find out what they enjoy doing and seeing how you can incorporate that. Anybody's gifts can be incorporated into the camp experience. Do they even understand why some of the rules exist? A lot of auxiliaries sometimes wonder why can't we just go on some of these distributions by ourselves without the men? And it's much better to know the basis behind the rules instead of just saying, well, that's the rule, and I'm sorry, you're just going to have to follow it. If you understand the basis behind the rules, it's much easier to say, okay, I get that now. It's like, as far as Gideons go with the auxiliary on certain events, it's to protect the auxiliary. Or in the case of medical facilities, is to carry the big boxes so the women don't have to carry the big boxes. But if you know the reasoning behind the rule, it now makes sense, and you don't have to feel like, well, those are just rules, and why should I follow them? So, trying to figure out how to reduce the negative experiences for the beginner, for the widow who no longer feels like she can share, or everybody. Try to find something that everybody would like to do. Pursue that. So these are my ideas when I wrote this. Connecting with them, having Zooms with our counterparts more than once a year, having Zooms, a Zoom prayer, if you can't do a regular prayer, a Zoom prayer, or like in the state cabinet, I was talking about our state cabinet connecting with our camp cabinet counterparts on a Zoom basis more than once a year. The beginning training, maybe something special is coming up for your event, having a Zoom training for that would be really good. And also sending out praying for you and calling or emailing our counterparts from the state cabinet down, praying, calling, emailing, let them know they're important. But even inside our camp, we can call and pray and send out cards to our members, let them know that they're important. We need to connect all together because we may be a better auxiliary if we're all connected together and we all feel like we're important. Another reason why there can be a lack of enthusiasm is feeling uneasy or unqualified. If individuals feel they lack the necessary skills or knowledge for an activity, or if they're unsure of their role, they might feel uncomfortable and withdrawal. Definitely training, our yearly training would be great for this, or even smaller camp trainings, or even having an auxiliary come and speak at your camp on a particular event. That would be really good. Burnout. Now, this hits everybody. Overcommitting to an activity can lead to exhaustion and a desire to quit. I think all of us at the state cabinet are definitely susceptible to this concept. How do we prevent that? And the biggest way we can prevent that is to spread out the work, have a team instead of just one Gideon card coordinator on the top. Have her connect with all her Gideon card liaisons so that she can then spread the work and give them Zooms and give them ideas so that they can be active. And you have her whole team then working throughout the area, throughout the association. So, and my ideas at the time I wrote this was, again, did pretty much what I said, having training specifically to the auxiliary so they get the skills they need. And we need to encourage those who take on cabinet positions in their camp. One of the big things that happened in my camp is that we didn't see a reason for a vice president or a secretary treasurer. So no reason for anybody to take the position. But now with our trainings and the ladies from the state cabinet making these trainings, we now know that there is a reason for the vice president other than taking over if the president's not there. She's in charge of membership and making and connecting with the members. And the secretary treasurer, even if you don't have a separate checking account or have a separate cabinet meeting, your secretary treasurer can still talk at the camp meetings about the different scripture funds and making sure that those funds are collected from the ladies and allocated to those accounts. So those are great things that we need to do is train, train, train. And how can we prevent burnout? Just again, by adding more workers to the team. Just because you have a camp member or cabinet member, like for instance, Gideon card, you have a Gideon card liaison, doesn't mean she should work all by herself all the time. She can gather a number of the other ladies in the camp to help her fill out cards or do whatever. So, yeah, encourage, delegate, and train to make ladies feel like they're part of the team. So basically, that's the ideas that we need to put into motion, can connect with one another, encourage one another, and build on and make everybody feel like they're participating. Their participation counts. So that's all I have, and I hope that helps you. Thank you. Bye bye now.